Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 10 o'clock on the dot. My name is Leranzo Tamba, and I'll be facilitating today's press conference. And thank you so very much for honoring our invite. I will introduce the panel before us, and we'll also just allow the Minister to take us through some opening remarks before we take some questions from yourselves. The Minister of Police is joined by his deputy, that is Babu Kasel Matale. And we do have the Acting National Commissioner of the SAPS, and that is DNC, Lieutenant General Mosikili. And we do have the National Head of the DPCI, that is, of course, Dr. Advocate Lieutenant General Libya. And to the furthest of my left, we have Lieutenant General Sibia, who is also the Deputy National Commissioner, responsible for crime detection and also the workings of crime intelligence as well. So you have a full panel that will be taking your questions, but firstly, let's just ask the Minister of Police to please open for us with some remarks. Thank you.
Thanks, Lorenzo. Good morning, Deputy Minister, Deputy National Commissioner Mosikili, and Sbia, the National Head of the Hawks, Lieutenant General Advocate Dr. Libya, and the Acting Secretary of the Secretariat. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today's briefing is on the policing successes in the fight against crime. In line with the theme for this year's budget vote of combating crime through decisive police action and robust community involvement. The operation of the increased crime prevention and combating action plan through Operation Shanela is yielding desired results in combating organized crime. This is the very reason why this administration is stamping the authority of the state through the adoption of the aggressive, high-density policing approach. Operation Shanela to conduct crime prevention and combating operations. National intervention teams are also hard at work in stabilizing various provincial crime challenges. The security cluster, working with synergy and agility through the National Joint Operation and intelligence structures, is also commendable. But over and above all this, we have gone to length as this government to capacitate the SAPS Crime Intelligence Division so that it is effective and capable and frankly apt to the task of identify and infiltrate syndicates. We have made serious inroads in stabilizing the institution. Each day, the intelligence community, through working with SAPS specialized units and intervention teams, is responding to crime and dismantling syndicates, cartels, and any organized criminal groupings using violence and their criminal gains. This is why we have called this press conference today. We wish to provide a thorough update on the work of the police who are pushing back against crime in the country and flushing out ruthless and greedy organized criminal syndicates. We will today highlight some of the major successes achieved by the SAPS in the last couple of weeks, but also remind the nation of the work that has been achieved through planning and interception of gangs in recent days. The work of SAPS has, through intelligence-led operations and weekly high-density operations, resulted in the arrest of thousands of criminals, especially dangerous and hardened criminals. Assets worth millions of rand have been recovered, and firearms have been removed off our streets. These covert operations have also resulted in the multiple deaths of suspects who violently resist arrest. Some of these meticulously conducted takedowns should renew our hope as a country that officers in blue are gaining ground against crime and continue to flush out criminality in both affluent and impoverished areas of our society. South Africans on various platforms have welcomed the bolstered and decisive policing of efforts by the SAPS who are going toe-to-toe with criminals. But in the same breath, we are also aware that SAPS' triumph over crime is a bitter pill to swallow by some. During this press conference, we also wish to expand on the emerging criminal bloc that is attempting to push an anti-police agenda. I will elaborate on this later. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to start by addressing this morning by highlighting some of the high-profile and major interceptions achieved by the SAPS as a direct result of improved coordination between crime intelligence and the specialized units of the South African Police Service. Crime intelligence information remains central in the takedown of armed and ruthless gangs. In the past week alone, police have registered a number of successes, including the latest takedown on cash in transit high suspects in Hoedspruit, Limpopo, in which 4 suspects were killed and 3 suspects arrested. Taking from the statement released by Hoedspruit farm workers or farm watchers. The Hoedspruit Farm Watch have a very good relationship with our local police and a large number of specialized SAPS units, and we work very well in partnership with. We are there only to support and strengthen the hands. The police did not run away from the scene and were there from start to way beyond the end of the operation. SAPS on all levels did an awesome job, and we are very proud to work with them. Well, on the space of media, sometimes social media, there was that thing that this was done by the farmers, police ran away and all. This is a statement that was issued by the farmers themselves. There is a long statement that you can find, and that counters that anti-police agenda that is somewhere there on the public media and social media. We'd like to take this opportunity to appreciate the working relationship with the Hoedspruit farm watchers who worked closely with the SAPS in taking down this syndicate. This is us now thanking this community as one of the communities that we work very close with. Among those arrested was a most wanted suspect, a Mozambican national, linked to a murder of police officer, a spate of car hijacks, house and businesses robberies, and fraud cases. Police seized 1 pistol, a rifle, and some of the stolen money. We expect that criminal is appearing in court today. In Gauteng, a multidisciplinary team led by the anti-kidnapping task team rescued an 18-year-old Wits University student from a kidnapping syndicate last Wednesday, 20 September 2023. The syndicate had been targeting the LGBTQI+ community through a popular dating app. Police have broken the back of this particular kidnapping syndicate that has so far been linked to over 50 kidnappings, to be more exact, 56 kidnappings, where ransom demands were being made. Still on kidnapping in the Northwest, in August 2023, an intelligence-driven operation led to the arrest of 7 suspects who kidnapped the victims from ransom related to municipality tenders. The clients were lured to a house to sign a contract relating to the solar geyser project to the value of 17 million. The suspects, who were dressed in police uniform, were found holding the victims hostages and demanding an amount of 300,000 rand. The suspects are facing kidnapping charges, including that of impersonating police officials and possession of fraudulent documents. Recoveries included 2 unlicensed firearms with 15 rounds of ammunition, SAPS uniform with 2 appointment certificates, and 2 vehicles. In KwaZulu-Natal, following a shooting incident which resulted in the fatal shooting of 5 men at the parking lot in Richards Bay shopping mall on the 19th September 2023. 24 hours later, police acted on information and traced 2 suspects to an upmarket estate in Palito where a shootout ensued. The pair were shot and killed during the takedown operation, which involved specialized units of the SAPS, including National Intervention Unit. One of the suspects was on the police wanted list and being investigated in a number of cases. One suspect isn't being sought by the police. 2 rifles, 2 shotguns, 4 9mm, 58 rounds of rifle live ammunition, 14 shotgun live ammunition, and 39 9mm live ammunition rounds were confiscated during that operation. So anybody who comes with an argument that innocent people were shot there must look at this. These were not flowers. These were not vases of flowers, of things that were found in that room. In the Eastern Cape, police arrested a gang that had robbed a store of 1 million worth of jewelry. Just hours later, police followed up on information and tracked down and arrested all 10 suspects following a crime intelligence-driven operation. All the stolen jewelry was recovered, as well as 4 firearms. The syndicate is linked to numerous other similar heists across the country. Illegal mining syndicates are also being intercepted and taken down. In Carolina, Mpumalanga, the illicit mining task team shut down an illegally operated coal mine and seized mining equipment worth over 60 million rands, as well as coal worth 12 million. A mine manager was arrested and the manhunt is underway for the owner. In Hosong, in Gauteng province, the DPCI under Operation Gillette arrested 9 suspects for illegal mining, and they attached through preservation order 58 properties. Those were 51 vehicles, including luxury vehicles, and 7 houses, to the value of 17 million. They will appear in court on the 29th September. In Northern Cape, 867 illegal miners were arrested during an intelligence-driven operation in the Namakwa region on Tuesday, 19, 2023. The area which is hotspot for illegal mining activities is being closely monitored, and police are working closely with other relevant departments to combat illegal mining activities there. Cash in transit heist takedowns. From 1st April to date, the following successes were achieved. On the 6th April 2023, an intelligence-driven proactive operation was conducted in Sebokeng, west of Johannesburg, where a group of 11 suspects were shot and killed during shootout with the police. The suspects were intercepted before they left their safe house en route to commit a cash and transit robbery. 6 rifles and 6 explosives, bulletproof vests, hand radios, and 4 vehicles were recovered during this operation. On the 19th May 2023, an intelligence-driven operation was conducted to intercept a group of suspects who were planning a CIT robbery in Soweto, West Rand area. 5 suspects were arrested. 3 rifles, 1 black 9mm Victor 9mm pistol was found. one signal jamming device, false vehicles registration plates were among those things recovered. 5 vehicles were also found on the premises and confiscated. On 12 August 2023, a takedown operation was conducted in Eden Park, east of Johannesburg, where CIT suspects were intercepted in their safe house prior to committing the crime. 5 suspects were arrested, 3 firearms and 5 vehicles confiscated. In Limpopo, on the 1st September 2023, a highly publicized intelligence-driven operation saw the interception of the CIT syndicate operating between Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and Limpopo, who were planning a CIT robbery in the Makato area. An over 90 minutes long shootout ensued between police and the suspect at the safe house, resulting in the death of 19 suspects, including 2 females. 11 rifles, 1 pistol, 300 rounds of ammunition and several explosives, and 9 vehicles were recovered. Out of 9 vehicles, 6 were reported stolen. We wish to also highlight that the work of the CI is rooting out some corrupt officers also taking part in this criminality. In Mpumalanga, on the 4th of August 2023, an intelligence-driven operation was conducted at the target safe house in Masoi, Hazelview, to recover firearms, resulting in 1 suspect arrested and confiscated 4 AK-47 rifles, 15 magazines, 343 live rounds of ammunition and explosives were recovered. In the same province, on the Friday, 23rd July 2023, an intelligence-driven operation was conducted to follow up information on CIT suspects, which led to the arrest of Mbombela traffic official. The vehicles that were identified at the crime scene were found parked in her yard. The 2 vehicles were confiscated. The suspect was charged for conspiracy to commit crime and robbery under aggravated circumstances, attempted murder, unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition. The case against the traffic official has been postponed to tomorrow, which is 27th September this year. On the 17th August 2023, 7 suspects were arrested at Nelspruit, Mpumalanga, of which 3 were members of the South African Police Highway Patrol who were involved in cash in transit heist in Mpumalanga. 6 rifles, 1 9mm pistol, 12 full-loaded magazines, explosives and detonator cord were recovered during this operation. The recovered pistol was subsequently linked to the CIT incident which took place on the 11th August 2023 in Malelane in Mpumalanga. At Umhlabialingana, safety and security has been restored in Emangosi in northern KZN, where communities has been living in fear due to cross-border motor vehicles, theft syndicates operating in the area. This follows the deployment of the task team to clamp down on cross-border vehicles smuggling syndicates in the area. Since the deployment from 1st February to date, 140 suspects have been arrested for various crimes, including theft, robbery, and murder. 64 vehicles have since been recovered, and 57 firearms have also been seized. In August, police registered a major breakthrough when 3 of the most wanted cross-border vehicles smuggling suspects were arrested for a murder of KZN anti-crime activist Judah Mteto, who was gunned down in February. Ladies and gentlemen, I have highlighted some of the work that is a direct result of capacitating South Africa SAPS that has effective units are up to the task and working without fear or favor. Crime intelligence operations with the work of informants and units within the SAPS continue to clamp down on organized crimes linked to kidnapping, extortion, narcotics, cash in transit, vehicle and truck hijacking. Overall, the SAPS continues to respond decisively to crimes linked to critical infrastructure, commercial crimes, stock theft, illegal mining and illicit cigarettes, and theft, as well as hijacking and smuggling of motor vehicles. It is clear that major shake-up and change of management in the Crime Intelligence Unit is starting to yield very positive results. The Crime Intelligence Division now has a tighter grip and is providing a crucial information that is assisting everyday policing. It is not a sole mission, but rather teamwork that is resulting in the interception and prevention of serious and violent crimes before they take place. Let me put it on record that the intelligence community is gaining back its might and its bite. The CI unit, under the leadership of Lieutenant General Khumalo, enjoys the full support of the Ministry and SAPS management. It should continue to conduct its work without fear or favor for the benefit of the South Africans. Crime Intelligence Division, the job before you is not an easy one, but it's certainly very possible to close those tabs and leakages in your unit and clean out the rot that is stifling progress. It is with concern, nonetheless, that as we note these successes, on the eve of this press briefing, we see media reports and commentary by some academics that seek to discredit the positive work of the Crime Intelligence Unit. It is no coincidence, and it remains a low blow to recycle old and fabricated stories in order to try and shift the focus of the good work achieved by this unit. A unit that was previously and deliberately hollowed out and rendered useless at some point is in the history of this organization. We view such mere attempts to try and derail the work of the police, and we want to be clear that such experiments, for whatever reasons, will not deter us. All the SAPS we know, as the SAPS we know where we are going, and we also know that if criminals are dealt a blow, there will always be resistance. Any opposition to change with crime intelligence that is underway to bolster its work remains unfortunate. But we remain more determined to fix the unit and capacitate the police service in its entirety. There is a criminal block that I referred to earlier in my statement. Is part of this resistance against the police and policing work, especially that crime intelligence. Whatever the motives may be, the SAPS remains unshaken and focused. We know that elements against change are using some individuals in society, academia, media, and within the police itself, police service, to push back on the policing work. Again, we are not moved and we remain focused. The fact is, the SAPS is more coordinated and working closer with communities to dismantle syndicate or individuals who choose the life of crime. As I conclude, police, through their aggressive approach to crime, have fired a warning shot to all elements of criminality and those who support crime. We are clear that South Africa is not and will never be a haven of criminals or organized crimes. The long arm of the law will not be selective, or will it be kind. The National Joint Operation and Intelligence Structure continues to bolster our efforts and ensuring the security cluster grows stronger than before. I want to thank communities who continue to support the work of the police through providing valuable information to the SAPS to assist in policing investigations, and those who bring forward information that assist the overall intelligence community. I want to repeat, indeed, iphoyisa ngomphakathi, and I want to thank you. I just want to put a little bit of the meat on this anti-police bloc. When the decision was taken for this media briefing, there was then immediately some articles on the papers. We're not blaming news houses, but there are individuals within these news houses that are used together by our own members and those individuals in some media houses, including the SAPC, of one radio DJ gallivanted on these matters and on the matter attacking the police and all that. And you know in a very short space of time why she was doing that, but also supported by some academia in dismantling and ridiculing the work of the police. We are very much aware of that anti-police. We're not saying that police are perfect. We're not saying that there are no problems, as we have mentioned here, that some of ours have been arrested. But this anti-police thing, clearly, there are people that are deciding to join the bloc of criminals. Either you are with the people or you are with the criminals. So we are watching and we are warning that even those that are joining the criminals will be regarded as criminals, and as such will act accordingly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Those are very firm words from the Minister of Police, who has taken us through a very thorough picture of what the SAPS have been doing in terms of combating crime, but also tackling serious crime in the country. So with that, let's just open up for some questions, please. You know the drill. Please identify yourself, the organization that you represent, and also who you would wish to direct the question to. And we also understand, Minister, that we'll also be taking some questions from our media friends that are on our WhatsApp group. But let's just start with Pretoria for now, and let's take the first three, please. Show of hands. Okay, we'll take newsroom. Okay, go ahead. ENCA. ENCA.
Good morning. My name is Bheki from ENCA. My question is to the Minister Bheki. We're talking about the spate of kidnapping that we've seen in most parts of the country. Last week, we've arrested about 7 people here in Gauteng. So I wanted to hear as to how big is this concern to you as the police? And this mainly syndicates operation or just opportunities looking for fast money. And do we have any provinces that the police are taking as hotspots in terms of kidnapping? And the last question, Minister, do you have any update in relation to musician aka Cele?
All right, thank you very much, ENCA. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Scott Goodser from The Citizen. Minister, I have noticed the anti-police agenda such you mentioned, but I wanted to ask you, what is your opinion about the state of the police? You know, how would you describe it? And how can the police improve their services? Is there room for improvement, and on what levels? Training, technology, you mentioned teamwork makes the dream work, but you know, how can we push it further?
All right. There were a couple of questions from the NCA and with yours, Mariska. So let me just take that as the first round. Can we maybe have those responses, Minister? We'll take the second round. Thank you.
Well, kidnapping is problematic in the country and is a new phenomenon. It came with the East Channel coming down in the country. Maybe I'm not ready to mention how it originates. But you find that there will be same group of people kidnapping the same group of people sometimes. What we did not write here in the statement is that there has been another breakthrough in East Rand where the woman was kidnapped and he has been found with a cut with the cut neck. The unit has managed a few days ago to discover and arrest the people who did this. As we have said, that this group, that has been arrested, has been linked on 56 other kidnappings. Just one group. But it's also a big problem in Eastern Cape, especially the east of Eastern Cape, Yomtata, your Queenstown, and all that. Though there have been serious breakthroughs, including Western Cape, there have been serious breakthroughs. We do have a unit that is led by the Crime Intelligence General dealing with these matters. Unfortunately, you are correct. There have been some members of the South African Police Service themselves that have been arrested who have decided to join the criminals, including in this kind of activities, kidnapping, not just the cash heist only. But what is not usually said is that those, besides the IPID, most of these criminal police, if there is such a thing, are arrested by their own. Now, the concentration is on those that are causing crime, and people ignore those good cops, which, by the way, are in majority, who deal with their own to arrest them. Yes, we are improving on the kidnapping. Maybe it also falls on the second question of the improvement of the police. You will remember that the Parliament, just of late, has agreed and allowed the police to use some equipment of interception. That has been passed by the Parliament after we've taken those processes to Parliament. And that is helping a lot. That technology, we're not going to be explaining, but it's a good technology that we are working on it in both kidnapping, cash in transit, and other organized groupings. So that improvement of technology is big. A few weeks ago, I was quite excited to have launched the drones, and with about 13 pilots, young pilots, South African Police Service, that are dealing with those drones and all that. As I speak, some of them have been sent to Port St. John's, where there is a problem, where we're working on drones rather than people walking and all that. So there is an improvement in the technology in South Africa. On the AKA, the provincial commissioner last week gave a serious, very elaborated issue when it comes to AK. I might not repeat everything, but he has said the cars have been found, people have been identified, even the firearm that was used has been found. So they're chasing exactly this person, and not very far of dealing the final blow to this case. But for the fact that the cars that were used and people identified, even the firearm found, which means might be taking some time for the family, for the friend, and for the nation, was a very known figure, AKA. So, but we would also request that police are given the space and themselves must resist the push that might end really breaking their case even before they achieve the proper investigation. But that is continuing. The state of the policing, this is what we are bringing here. There's been a serious complaint and lambasting, especially of the division crime intelligence. This is it. Maybe one can answer even the question that you have been asked about some article of 100 cars. That's not true. That's not true. Among those cars, there are 20 cars with a very high tech on them, which have been part of the request to utilize from Parliament. That has passed now. We are beginning to unleash some of these highly tech cars out there. The rest of the cars, maybe the people that are using some of the individuals, they feel some form of the pinch of the management that have taken and doing things properly. Those cars, to be short on it, they go where they're supposed to go. Maybe those that they use to drive those cars for whatever luxury and pleasure of themselves are feeling the pinch. Hence, they run to some individuals of your colleagues and write the stories that do not exist. But we are improving. We have really covered the ground, especially on the intelligence and overall, and the better coordination of the intelligence of our special units and the better deployment when it comes to the hotspots like Manguzi, like places like in Eastern Cape, Port St. John's. So we are fine. That does not mean that we don't have the problem with the South African police as an organization. Hence, from last 5 years, 7,000 of our own have been arrested, 7,000 of our members, though only 680 of them have been found guilty, as the answer was given by the Minister of Police in Parliament. But those are arrested by the very same police, but many other police are doing the good work. Maybe that's why the prisons are 44% overpopulated, because these police are doing a good work, and those people don't go voluntarily in the prison. They are sent by the police. Operation Chanela is there. If I'm not mistaken, only this weekend, when it comes to Operation Chanela, stand 10,158. So police are getting the grip, are working, Operation Chanela is working, we are well coordinated, and we believe soon the impact will be felt by everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, Minister. Let us take now some questions from our media colleagues that are not here with us in Pretoria. Could we maybe just have an indication of how many questions we are faced with and to who exactly?
Thank you, Lorenzo. We only have 3 questions.
All right. Thanks, Taklani. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The first 2 are coming from Ivan from News 24, and it said it has been bloody week for police officers nationwide, with at least 7 officers brutally attacked. And the question is there a growing worry about the ongoing killing of SAPS members, and what is needed to ensure that police are better protected? And the second question, do you know which cases warrant officer that Almani Morris was working on and why he was possibly targeted? And the community of Westbury says they are now living in fear. And are you looking at redeploying resources to that area? And the third question, and the last, from Tunisia, at Kairos, and the question is, a lot has been said about the improvements in crime intelligence capacity, and why the SAPS failed to take down the gang leaders responsible for the ongoing drug theft war in Westbury and El Dorado Park, who are known by communities and activists. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Takalani. Let me just triple check. Are those the only questions that we have online? Okay, we've got one more. Brigadier? We need a microphone, please. Hold on. We need a microphone.
Thank you, Minister. Raymond from NetVac 24. In July, on the 2nd anniversary of the July unrest, Minister Bheki said that more arrests linked to the July 2021 arrest are imminent. How many have been arrested since July 2023 when Minister Cele made the announcement? In total, how many suspects have been arrested for the July unrest, and what are the charges? From this total, how many are the masterminds behind the unrest? And then from Pauline Gambi, from Newsroom Africa, are you aware of police wardens operating in Gauteng? If so, under which law do they police the streets of Gauteng which allows them to invade people's homes. Is this kind of conduct allowed under South African law? Thank you. That's all from my side.
All right, thank you so much, Brigadier. Minister has quite a few questions. And just to remind the House that we have sent through the Minister's opening remarks. If you don't have a copy, please indicate. Minister, over to you.
Killing of the police is a serious concern. Only first Sunday, President was on Union Building where we were dealing with 34 members of South African Police Service killed in 3 months. The 7 attacks that you talk about where the young police was killed in Soshanguve, and Morris was also killed in Westbury, Eldos. The issue of the police killing will be on 2 things. Is that because they do their work, there is a targeting of the police that they're really doing their work. But also it does tell that there will have to be a proper improvement in the technicality and techniques of police responding on the matters. The management is taking that one on board. There are issues that have been put on the table. So there was even some discussions yesterday of dealing with that matter of the police being able to respond better and defending themselves better. But South African criminals have decided that they will take law enforcement agencies and personnel toe to toe. That's why police themselves will have to be really on the alert and respond accordingly. But overall, it is a worry that police are dying. I'm not going to talk much about the death of the officer Morris that was killed. He was at work, was working with on the case there of the gangsters there in Westbury, and was shot in front of the family. Was with the kids there. That's why some of those kids and the partner that he was with are receiving some counseling as we speak. Maybe that is linked to the question saying why the crime intelligence has not having a takedown there. This officer was working on the case of gangsterism in that, which means it can't be true that police are not working on it. And even the killing and shooting of this officer is a pushback of the work that is being done there. Indeed, there has been a flare up, and the Special Provincial Commissioner working with special units from National Office, they are reworking on the matter. But many people have been arrested there, and there have been serious arrests when it comes to Westbury. Unfortunately, there will be the flare-ups. Some flare-ups, by the way, come from the movement of some gangsters from the other parts of the country. We know that there are people that have moved from Western Cape to places like Westbury. Some have moved from the northern areas of Gqeberha to that place. So, and some they've moved even at a place like Wentworth in Durban, moving from Western Cape. So there is that nationalization of gangsterism, but police are working on those matters. So there have been this. This question of July 2021, I don't know why people don't want to hear it once and go on with life. We've been saying time and again that 67 people are arrested for this. 67. Originally, there were 83. Some of them cases were withdrawn. But 67 are court-going people. One of them last week was found guilty. And they're on bail, they're court-going. So that I hear now and again that the leaders of these have not been found. So people have been arrested, some have been found guilty, though is one. If you know who is the leader, bring him. Bring the leader. We have arrested people that have been involved in agitating in that particular thing. There are people among them who are high-profile people. Some of them are even attorneys who are part of this thing. Yeah, some attorneys who were running this thing and all this, some of them were managers. Some of them were people in the position. So if you say those are not the people, give us those that you know will arrest. But for us, in our hands, as we speak, we have 67 that are court-going people. One has been found guilty only 2 weeks ago. The last question from Oli of Warden, I think it will be better explained by the Minister of Justice, because all other structures that are not members of the South African Police Service are dealt by the Minister of Justice through the Criminal Procedure Act. It's him that works on that. Those structures would apply, but the communication and correspondence will be between that structure and the Minister of Justice. And I guess that they would have spoken, they would have given all necessary issues for whatever establishment of those wardens, which is almost similar with what is in Western Cape, but what is in Western Cape is called law enforcement, not wardens. But they will fall under the same law, which falls under the Minister of Justice rather than the police. Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think maybe that is most likely the end of our press conference. Let me just scan through Pretoria and see if there's any pressing last questions. No? Takalani, there's nothing on your side? Mate, there's nothing on your side?
Thank you, Leranzo. There's one question from Atandi from Cape Town newspaper. And the question is, I'm not sure if I missed it, but I noticed there's no Western Cape related serious crimes highlighted like other provinces. Does this mean kidnapping, CIT, and extortion has decreased or what? If there has been a positive change, what could be attributed to this? And also, what are the chances that it simply means people are not reporting the crimes if there is? Thank you.
All right, thanks, Takalani. That is a question, Minister, about why there isn't any, successes on the Western Cape.
Well, it's not only Western Cape that was not mentioned. There are other provinces that were not mentioned. But Western Cape, indeed, there have been work that has been done by the South African police working with the law enforcement and the local people. Again, I don't know why people will forget about the very high-profile arrest in Western Cape. Very high-profile arrest of some people that run drug syndicates there. I'm not going to mention names. But also, a few weeks ago, there have been a serious sentence of the people who killed a lawyer who was taking his kids to school one morning. He was shot and killed. 3 of those people have been given life sentence in 3 weeks ago. Maybe we should have said so. But also, the there was some little bit of calmness after the arrest of a very notorious, well-known somebody there called Barra in Western Cape. Unfortunately, some communities, they marched and demanded that Barra must be released. We could not have released Barra. He's got 19 charges of dead bodies. He's charged for 19 dead bodies. He's a 30-year-old teacher by profession, young boy of 30 years. So he has been running the extortion business in a big way in Western Cape. Maybe that extortion is still there, but since he was arrested, the big job was made by arresting him. He originates from Kofimbaba, where he was responsible for some cash heist and all that. There is criminality going on in Western Cape, but there is a response by both South African police and the law enforcement working very together. So it's not that things are clear there. But if you look at the crime stats, Western Cape is becoming a little bit greener than the other provinces. So those are the cases. There are other provinces that we did not mention. There would be your Free State and all that. But we were highlighting those that are very high, and we are glad that we are dealing with those. And Cape Town is forever on our focus. We cannot take it out of our focus. Hence, extra resources. There is no province, I must repeat, that has been given resources more than the Western Cape. We have sent almost 24 months where we have sent the extra police from different provinces under Operation Thunder that have extra cars and all that, working with the law enforcement and the people that are deployed in Western Cape. Thanks.
Thank you, Minister. Seemingly there is a huge interest in the figures of the Western Cape. I'm going to ask our Acting National Commissioner, General Mosikili, to come through and just elaborate on those numbers that you have come to our attention very recently, so we can give you a holistic picture over and above what the Minister has told us around the work that has been put into policing the Western Cape.
Thank you very much, Liranzo, and members of the media, Minister of Police and Deputy Minister. Just to give a much more elaborative on what the Minister have already highlighted in the Western Cape in figures from April to date, on the 13 cases of kidnappings that were reported in that area, 13 of those have been taken to court. Number of persons arrested is a total of 28, and all are still in custody. The police and the National Prosecuting Authority has successfully opposed bail on those that are still in custody. 7 cases are still under investigation. Of course, it is still too early for those that were referred to court in recent days to have convictions. We are positively have seized 3 vehicles that were used as instrumentalities to these cases, 1 Quantum, 1 Polo, and Golf 7. And of course, we have those number of successes in terms of Operation Chanela that are also recorded in the Western Cape and across the country. I thank you.
Thank you very much, General. With that, let's maybe bring this press conference to a close. Thank you so much, Minister of Police, the Deputy Minister, the Generals on the podium, of course, Mr. Ramaru, our Civilian Secretariat, and of course to you, members of the media. Thank you so much for coming through.